So what's the real difference between a trader who makes it and one who loses it all? It's not some secret strategy they're hiding. In this explainer, we're going to dig into the data, the psychology, and the actual systems that separate the pros from everyone else.
You know, that promise of financial freedom, it's a really powerful lure. You see it packaged all the time into these super high-risk strategies, things like the 100% profit plan, and what they're really selling is this dream of aggressive, life-changing growth.
I mean, it's an incredible dream, right? But here's the question. What if that dream doesn't just fall a little short of reality? What if, for most people, it's actually a direct path right off a cliff?
So this whole dream, it's all about explosive growth, taking a small account and trying to turn it into a fortune. It's usually built on things like high leverage and super fast trading. But, and this is a big but, this whole aggressive approach has a hidden, and let me tell you, a very dangerous flip side.
Okay, but when we actually stop dreaming for a second and just look at the hard data, a much darker picture starts to emerge. And it all kicks off with this number.
So, there was this huge study, a real landmark one, by the North American Securities Administrations Association, we'll just call them NASA. They dug into public trading accounts, and what they found was, honestly, pretty shocking. 70% of traders didn't just lose some money. The study concluded they were almost certain to lose every single penny they invested.
Just let that sink in for a second. The same study found that only this tiny sliver, just 11.5% of traders, actually showed the kind of profitability and risk control you need to succeed. So what does that mean? It means for nearly 9 out of every 10 traders, the odds are just overwhelmingly stacked against them.
So why? What is going on here? Is everyone just using bad strategies? Well, not really. The real reasons, they often have way less to do with the charts and a lot more to do with what's going on right up here inside our own heads.
And the answer, it turns out, is buried deep in our own psychology. You see, these researchers, Kahneman and Tversky, they identified this incredibly powerful cognitive bias called loss aversion. And believe me, it's a survival instinct that's hardwired right into our brains, and it can totally mess with our financial decisions.
Okay, so here's how it works in plain English. That awesome feeling you get from a $100 win, well, it's only about half as strong as the gut-wrenching feeling you get from a $100 loss. That pain is so real, so intense, that our brains will do completely irrational things, like, holding on to a losing trade for way too long, just to avoid having to actually face that feeling of failure.
Okay, so if this is hardwired into us, how in the world do successful traders get past it? Well, here's the secret. They don't try to fight their own biology. Instead, they build a system of guardrails around it. And this system, it's their survival toolkit. It is absolutely non-negotiable.
All right, and this is so important. Every single trade, and I mean every single one, has to follow a clear 3-step risk process before you even think about placing it. This isn't something you just figure out as you go. It's like a pilot's pre-flight checklist. It's what protects your capital and, honestly, your sanity.
And the absolute cornerstone, the foundation of this whole process, is defining your risk before you get in. The pros live and die by this rule, because it's the one thing that guarantees you can survive to trade another day. It makes sure that no single bad trade, or heck, even a whole string of them, can ever knock you out of the game for good. And right here, this is one of the clearest dividing lines between the pros and the amateurs. Professionals, they stick to risking just 1 to 2%, religiously. But so many traders, especially with smaller accounts, they fall right into the trap of risking 5%, maybe even more, per trade. And mathematically, that just puts them on the fast track to blowing up their account.
And see, all of this, it really gets to the core difference between pros and amateurs. It's not just about following some rules. It's a complete, fundamental shifts in your mindset. It's about how you even approach the idea of making money in the markets in the first place.
The amateur, they're always chasing the moonshot, right? That one gigantic win that's going to change everything. But the professional, they aren't trying to hit a home run. They're just focused on developing a small, consistent statistical edge, something they can execute over and over and over again.
And professionals have a name for this edge. They measure it using a concept called expectancy. And what this does is it completely reframes the goal. Suddenly, it's not about being right on this one trade. It's all about achieving a positive average outcome over a whole bunch of trades.
And the way they measure those outcomes is in something called R multiples. And honestly, it's a brilliant way to standardize your performance.
R is just the amount you risked in the first place. So if a trade makes 3 times what you risked, that's a plus 3R win. It doesn't matter if it was $10 or $10,000.
All right, so all of this brings us full circle right back to where we started. But now we're looking at it with a completely new and, frankly, a much more powerful perspective on what a trading plan is really all about.
You see, the real goal was never that 100% profit plan. That's the marketing. That's the dream. The professional reality is a 100% complete plan. We're talking a full blueprint that covers every single aspect of your trading, leaving absolutely nothing to emotion or guesswork.
So what does that actually look like, a complete plan? Well, it has to weave together 4 key pieces. You need your strategy, sure, but you will also need your strict risk management rules, your psychological prep, and a detailed journal to track every single thing so you can actually find your statistical edge.
At the end of the day, the difference between that 11.5% who might just make it and everyone else, it all boils down to this one simple question. A complete plan, that's the blueprint for a real business. Anything less? Well,